Imagine waking up one morning, checking your phone, and seeing a headline that makes you drop your coffee. LeBron James, in a Philadelphia 76ers jersey. Not photoshopped. Not a rumor. Real. If you think you've seen every twist basketball can throw at you, buckle up, because this one breaks the internet in ways nobody saw coming. Let's rewind for a second, because to understand why this moment hit so hard, you need to understand the man at the center of it. LeBron James isn't just a basketball player. He's a chapter of history that refuses to close. Since he stepped onto an NBA court as a teenager with the weight of an entire state on his shoulders, he has done something almost impossible. He stayed relevant, dominant, and must-watch television for over 2 decades. Cleveland. Miami. Cleveland again. Los Angeles. Every city he's touched has felt an earthquake the moment he arrived. And every time people whispered, "He's done," he answered with a chapter so loud it silenced the noise. But time is undefeated. Even legends feel it creeping in. And as LeBron entered the twilight of his career, everyone wondered, where does the story end? Does he ride off quietly with the Lakers? Does he chase one final ring somewhere unexpected? Nobody, and we mean nobody, had Philadelphia on their bingo card. So picture this. It's the middle of an ordinary week in the NBA calendar. No trade deadline drama scheduled. No max contract expiring that night. Just business as usual, until a single tweet cracks the internet in half. A tweet from an insider, someone with a track record of dropping bombs before anyone else. The words are simple, almost too simple for how massive they are. LeBron James. Philadelphia 76ers. It's happening. For a moment, the world pauses. Fans refresh their feeds like it's a heartbeat monitor. Sports talk shows scramble to break format. Group chats around the globe erupt into chaos. All caps messages, disbelief emojis, screenshots flying faster than anyone can process them. Is this real? Is this a hoax? Is this the internet playing its favorite game of mass confusion? Then, confirmation drops. Official. Verified. Stamped with team logos and press conference podiums. LeBron James is a Philadelphia 76er. Take a breath, because we need to unpack just how seismic this is. This isn't just a star switching teams. This is arguably the most recognizable athlete on the planet, joining a franchise that has spent years chasing a championship window that always seemed to shatter one game too early. The Sixers, a team defined by the process, defined by heartbreak, defined by a fan base that has screamed until their voices gave out, year after year, hoping this would be the season. And now they have LeBron. Think about the roster this creates. Imagine a starting five with a former MVP center anchoring the paint, a smooth scoring guard slicing through defenses, and now, walking through the tunnel in a red, white, and blue uniform, the king himself. Sixers fans who have waited through injuries, playoff collapses, and what could have been seasons suddenly have a reason to dream bigger than they've dared to in years. But let's slow down and ask the real question everyone's asking. How did this even happen? LeBron, a Los Angeles Laker, spending years building a legacy on the West Coast, chasing championships alongside a roster built around him. How does a move like this even become possible? This is where the story gets even more interesting. Because behind every blockbuster transaction, there's a chess match happening in the shadows. Front office executives making calls in the middle of the night. Agents whispering possibilities into phones. Ownership groups weighing legacy versus logic. Somewhere in that web of negotiations, Philadelphia saw an opportunity, a chance to add a piece so significant it could alter the entire landscape of the Eastern Conference overnight. And LeBron. At this stage of his career, legacy isn't just about stats anymore. It's about opportunity. It's about chasing one more shot at the mountaintop before the sun sets on this chapter of his life. If the situation lined up, the right roster, the right city, the right moment, why wouldn't a competitor like him consider it? Now picture the scene inside the Philadelphia locker room the day the news breaks internally. Teammates who grew up watching this man on television, studying his game, mimicking his moves in driveway pickup games, suddenly turning around and seeing him walk through that door as one of their own. The disbelief. The excitement. The instant shift in how every single one of them views their season. And then, picture the fans. Philadelphia sports fans are known for many things: passion, intensity, loyalty that borders on obsession. This is a city that lives and breathes its teams, a city where heartbreak has been swallowed and repeated more times than anyone should have to endure. So when word spreads that LeBron James is walking into their arena wearing their colors, the city doesn't just celebrate, it erupts. Sports bars fill up as if it's a playoff game in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday. Jerseys sell out online within minutes, servers crashing under the weight of demand. Local radio stations abandon their scheduled programming to dissect every angle of the move. And somewhere in the city, a kid who has grown up wearing his father's old Sixers jersey looks up at his dad and asks the only question that matters: "Do you think we finally win it this year?" That question hangs in the air, because that's what this move represents. Hope. Real, tangible hope, in a city that has bottled up disappointment for far too long. But every great story has tension, and this one is no different. Because bringing in a player like LeBron doesn't erase challenges, it creates new ones. How does a locker room built around a certain identity adjust to welcoming arguably the most dominant force the sport has ever seen? How does a coaching staff redesign an offense to maximize both existing stars and a future Hall of Famer walking through the door in the later stages of his career? These aren't small questions. These are the kind of puzzles that decide championships. And then there's the outside noise. Critics who question whether this move makes sense long-term. Analysts who wonder if chemistry can be built fast enough before the postseason arrives. Rival fanbases who mock, who doubt, who wait eagerly for any sign of cracks in the foundation. Every great story needs doubters, and this one has no shortage of them. Yet, amid all the noise, something remains constant. LeBron James has spent over 20 years silencing doubt with performance. Every era of his career has featured people predicting decline, predicting failure, predicting the fall, and every single time, he has answered not with words, but with results on the court that left jaws on the floor. So imagine opening night. The lights dim in the arena. The crowd, electric beyond anything this building has felt in years, rises to their feet. The announcer's voice booms through the speakers, introducing the starting lineup one by one. And then, the moment everyone came for, his name echoes through the arena, followed by a roar so loud it feels like the building itself might lift off its foundation. He steps onto the court. Not as a visitor. Not as a rival. As one of their own. The ball tips off, and for the first time, fans watch him play defense wearing their colors, watch him set up a teammate for a fast break dunk wearing their colors, watch him control the tempo of the game like he's done 1,000 times before, except this time, it's for them. Every possession feels heavier than normal. Every highlight feels like it belongs in a documentary. Every fan in that building understands they are witnessing something that will be talked about for decades, a Legends chapter unfolding in real time, right in front of their eyes. As the season progresses, the story writes itself in ways nobody could have scripted. Big moments. Signature performances. Games where experience takes over in the final minutes, where poise built over 20 years of pressure situations becomes the deciding factor between a win and a heartbreaking loss. Every game becomes appointment viewing, not just for Philadelphia fans, but for basketball fans everywhere, because everyone wants to see how this chapter ends. And through it all, questions linger like a slow building storm. Can this roster gel in time for a serious playoff run? Can the city's decades-long championship drought finally break? Can this partnership between a battle-tested franchise and one of the greatest players to ever live produce the fairy tale ending everyone's hoping for? Nobody knows for sure. That's what makes this story so gripping. Sports, at its core, is unscripted drama. Real people, real pressure, real stakes, unfolding in real time with no guaranteed outcome. And right now, in this moment, in this city, with this player wearing this jersey, the possibilities feel endless. Maybe this ends in triumph. A championship banner finally raised, ending years of frustration, with the King adding one final legendary chapter to a career already overflowing with history. Or maybe it ends in heartbreak, another chapter in Philadelphia's long history of near misses, another what could have been story added to a painful collection. But either way, one thing is certain. The moment LeBron James put on that Philadelphia jersey, he didn't just join a team. He became part of a story that this city and this sport will be talking about for generations. And that, right there, is why we watch. Not just for the wins. Not just for the highlights. But for moments like this, moments that remind us why sports capture our hearts in the first place. Moments where the impossible suddenly becomes reality, where legends rewrite their own legacy in real time, and where an entire city holds its breath, hoping this is finally their year. So as the season unfolds and the story continues to write itself, one question remains on every fan's lips, echoing through sports bars, group chats, and arenas alike. Is this the beginning of something historic, or just another twist in a story that never stops surprising us? Only time will tell. But if there's one thing we've learned from watching this man's career unfold over the past 2 decades, it's this: bet against him at your own risk, because he has a habit of proving everyone wrong when it matters most.